Yesterday, 50% of the Department of Education staff was cut. Gone. They had to leave the building per an email that they received from the new Secretary of Education, Linda MacMahon, saying, take your laptop home, take your iPhone, go home. You need to vacate the building by 6 p.m. This was yesterday, March 11th. So they all went home. The thing is, 50% of them won't be coming back. 50% of them will. So the 50% that their jobs are essentially being eliminated will get 90 days pay, a generous severance package. And this all came on the heels of the audit done by DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk. He went in there, his team went in there and found allegedly bloat and bureaucracy that they could not believe. There's so much bloat and bureaucracy that they were saying, wait a minute, what is going on here? Why do we have all this staff, but we rank 40th in a list of 40 countries and our students are ranked at the bottom? Like, we're number 40 on a list of 40. And why is it that the United States is the only country in the world that has the highest cost per student? So we have the highest cost per student. We're ranked 40th on a list of 40. We have all this bureaucracy and bloat coming out of the Department of Education. Our teachers are understaffed, overworked, and underpaid. Our kids are like on their cell phones in the classroom. The classrooms have like 50 kids in it with one teacher. Half of the teachers that they're hiring now aren't even certified. And we're saying, hey, we meaning the Doge team and the Trump administration, where's all this money? Like, what are we paying for? Like, what are we doing here? So if you remember, Donald Trump ran his campaign. One of his other promises was he was going to pass off the Department of Education process procedures to the individual states. He wants the states to run the Department of Education. He doesn't want it being run up in the federal government. So you know what's run up there? The grants, the loans, all of the things. So if we have all this excess there and we remove it, we could probably most likely pay our teachers more, have a better curriculum, not have so much indoctrination going on. And maybe our kids could actually do third grade math when they're in high school, or maybe they can read to comprehend, because just because they can read words on a page doesn't mean they can understand what they're actually reading. And didn't they take cursive out of program? Like, they don't learn how to write. They don't know how to write their name in script. So the new secretary, Linda MacMahon, went in there and said, everybody go home 6 p.m. So there's video footage of them coming out of the building. And now the left is saying that Donald Trump has dismantled and is eliminating the Department of Education. Okay, so that's not what's happening. If there was excess in the Department of Education and we were able to dwindle that down by half, we could give that money to the states to draw up and create and run programs so that our kids can read and do math. We might be able to drum up some money to actually pay out some Pell Grants, because how many people apply for those grants and federal aid and don't get it? I know what I'm talking about. My daughter didn't get federal aid. Apparently I made too much money. That is not true. Back in the day, barely. And so now they're saying they're cutting the Department of Education. I've seen more videos on TikTok where there are people saying that President Trump is eliminating the Department of Education. He's eliminating education. First of all, he can't do that. Second of all, that would have to run through Congress. And it would never, we can't not educate our kids, but what we can do is we can eliminate some of that excess, some of that bloat, some of that bureaucracy, and pay our teachers more so that our teachers are not running to the ground. How would you like if you were a teacher and you had 50 kids in your classroom, they're all fighting or on their phones? Maybe if we had more money in the states, we wouldn't have so many schools, you know what's going on. Like, that excess money could help. And maybe and then there are people saying, well, the Department of Education, they don't write the curriculum. No one said they did. What we said was, we're going to find excess and we're going to take that excess and we're going to give it to the schools. We're not going to push our kids grade by grade by grade, get them all the way up to a senior in high school and they can't read and do third grade math. Have y'all seen the numbers? I should have got a clip and put it in this video. They are abysmal. So I want to know. So, of course, the Department of Education was put in the 70s by Jimmy Carter, I think. So before the 1970s, there was no Department of Education. All of the education was run at the individual state level. So someone in the 70s, I want to say it was Jimmy Carter, correct me in the comments if that's not right, decided we needed to have a Department of Education. So it's never worked. And there's no checkers to make sure that that is getting done. But what we do know is that our kids were out of school for almost 2 years. They could barely read and write before that. And they for sure can't read and write now. And why were the left not screaming and carrying on when our kids were not in school? When half of them were sitting at the kitchen island with a teacher that was logging on and off, and then the other half didn't even have Wi-Fi. Do you remember what the Governor Holcomb, said in New York? She's like, you know that the Black students, they don't know how to use like computers. They don't know how to use laptops. Google it. She said that. So were they not giving them electronics because they thought they didn't know how to use them? The whole thing is a mess. And all I have to say is I voted for this because there's no way in the world that we are okay with being 40 on a list of 40, and we have kids, seniors in high school, who cannot comprehend reading. They can't do math. We can no longer continue to let our teachers who want to help, they want to teach, they love being teachers, be inundated with the disrespect that goes on in the classroom, with the kids on their cell phones. They're trying to keep the kids safe and doing all kind of drills just in case there's a situation. They didn't go to school for that. And because so many of the teachers have left, remember, a bunch of them were threatened, if you don't get that, your job is gone. So then they started just putting people in the role who aren't even teachers. Nowhere in the world does this happen. Like this, it's almost like this is a third world country. Because what? We're the United States of America and our kids cannot read and write. Let me know down in the comments what you think. I am for it. And for anyone who's going to watch this video and say, well, he's taking money away and all those all of those people in the Department of Education lost their jobs and now teachers don't have jobs and all these people are unemployed. The people that worked for the Department of Education, they can now become teachers, right? Because they worked in the Department of Education. They have some higher degree, right? They can be a teacher now. But nowhere do you continue to sit up in a big, huge building in DC and deny loan applications and Pell Grants because you can. No more do we have to have our kids bringing in their own school supplies, like in Chicago where the kids have to bring their own toilet paper. I mean, when the whole thing was happening, when they were able to go back to school in 2020, they had to bring their own wipes, all their own stuff. I'm telling you, I know this for a fact. When my daughter was in school, all I had to do was get like book covers, pencils, a retractor, a ruler, an eraser, glue. You have to give your kid everything now. And then you have to supply enough for the whole classroom. And before that, I have friends who were teachers who had to use their own money to buy construction paper for art class, which they don't have anymore because there's no money for it. You know why there's no money for it? You know why there's no art, there's no music? You know why they don't learn script? You know why? Because they got over 1,000 people up in DC doing a job that we don't need them doing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this is a good thing, or are you one of those people who think that President Donald Trump is taking away education? Thank you for watching. If you've not subscribed to my channel, subscribe, click the bell, because we talk about this stuff every week.